Now as a bread dough, that I think is nice. Spray round your bowl, all the way around that edge. Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse my French. So that's coming up to our 10 minutes. And that's looking pretty good actually. This is for making our wholemeal bread. So this is our ingredients. Right, we'll get that straight into the machine. So for making our wholemeal bread, what we need to do is just pop our water straight into the bowl. Add in our rest of our ingredients. Let's put them straight in. Now we're going to mix them on the machine for around about 10 minutes. No, there you go, there's our machine switched on. So we'll set our dial. So we want 10 minutes. Hopefully that comes out all right. And this is a bit of a guess. And we're going to be mixing at around about 50%. And that should be plenty good enough. 50% is around about, give or take, a second speed on a normal machine. Now all we do is just keep an eye on that, just in case you need to add a little bit more water to it. But as you can see, that seems to be all right at the moment. So we'll let that mix for around about 10 minutes. That looks as though it's mixing quite well actually. Now there is a splash guard for the top of this, but we're not using it so you can actually see what's actually going on in that bowl. So that's coming up to our 10 minutes. And that's looking pretty good actually. So here's a little tip. So just before mixing, add some spray around your bowl, all the way around that edge. Right, our dough's ready. So that's our dough. So we're just putting back on again. We're mixing back up again, taking back up to 50, and just spray around the edge like this. And that'll help get your dough out easier. Right, we'll stop it. So all we need to do is just stick this straight onto the table. So it should just come out nice and easy. So what do I think of it? Actually, that don't feel too bad, to be honest. Right, so we'll do the same thing with the next one. And for making our granary bread, this is our recipe. Just in case anybody's wondering, we're going to stick all the ingredients in first this time. Yeah, you can see what's happening there, can't you? So don't worry about this, because it's going to go straight into that. If it was white, then yes, clean it off. So we'll drop them back down. Now we'll try a different experiment this time. What we're going to do is give it 1 extra minute. Now we'll start them off at low speed. Say 15, I think. Bit higher then. 25. Now we'll just add our water in. Remember, if you've got your little plastic thing, you'll have an opening there for it. As soon as that gets to 10 minutes, we'll knock it right up again. So that's on 50 now. So we'll just scale this off. Because this has got bread improver in there, it moves differently to what it would do if it hadn't. So it looks as though our granary needs a little bit more flour. Now remember, you've got granary bits in here, so the granary bits will absorb the water. Looking at that should be fine. The thing is with this machine, you want to keep within the tolerances that you're allowed, because if you go and make it too hard, you could end up bending that hook. Right, for this dough, we're going to turn him up a bit. So we're going to turn it up to 60 now. And hopefully that picks up everything off the bottom of the bowl. So we'll just do a test on it first before we carry on. Yeah, that don't feel too bad. So just carry on then. with the wholemeal, all we do is leave it on the table, because obviously you can't use it yet. You really want to leave it around about 30 minutes, give or take. Now for a split tin recipe, this is a very simple one. So this is for our white bread. So what we'll do is add in our white flour. So that's our granary ready. So once again, so we're just spinning around a minute. And if you remember what I said earlier, just knocking back up. And just spray around the edge of the bowl, like that. And that just releases the dough from the edge. So I'll put this straight onto the table. Now because we're doing a white dough now, this needs cleaning off. It's important just to get these bits off, because you don't want that to go into your white bread. Well, this is our white bread. Lock it in. Now just push this down. That's better. Right, we're set once again 11 minutes. And we'll just start that going. And now we'll add our water in. And we'll turn it up a little bit. I actually prefer to put the water in at the beginning, to be honest, in the bottom. But I'll just try it this way for now. There we go. We'll give that a few minutes to mix round, and then if it needs a bit more flour, we'll add it in. But at the moment, I think we're fine. So we'll put that onto 50, and that should be okay. That actually feels a nice bit of dough there. So we'll just scale that off. 3 large and 2 small, I believe. All you need to do with this bowl is give it a good scrape out to get all that brown stuff. Right, and you can still use that for another mix, all right? So there's no problem there. You've got rid of all the brown, and that's fine. Now, because the way we did it, if you notice, the flour is actually stuck to the bottom of the bowl there, so it's not picked it up. So my thoughts is, put the water in first, then the flour. But that's having a job to pick that flour up off the base. By rights, that should be picking it up by now, but it's not doing anything. So for our next dough, we're going to put our water in first. We'll just stop that a minute. Yeah, see, it's slowly picking it up off the bottom. I'm not a lover of this, the way it's doing it. Realistically, you don't want this to be lying around in the bowl, because it's going to be lumpy into the dough. So I think, personally, water in first, then your flour. But then we got another 5 minutes to go, so let's go for it. Let's see what it looks like afterwards. So these are now ready for moulding up. Now to me, this is what I look at. What's the dough like after being in that machine? It's very much, this is wholemeal, and it's always a little bit odd. So we just mould it up. Like that. That goes into our bread tins. Now with our bread tins, I've already pre-sprayed these. So we're going to just prove them in the bakery just like this, all right? I will cover them up later maybe. It depends. If it starts to skin up on the top, then I'll cover them up. But at the moment, you don't need it. You want to be coming up to about that high. Same with the small tins, and they're almost ready then. So I'm looking at these and I'm thinking, yeah, that's moving quite nicely. And that's not a bad bit of dough. Now once again, just spray around the edge of the bowl. You can see where your dough has come away from the bowl, so that's looking good. Now what you don't want to turn this into a roll dough. If you get it too much of a big window, it's not going to be very good. Just a little bit like that, and that'll do. So that's another bread dough done. So this time we're going to try it the other way around. Water in the bowl first and then add the ingredients. Put that straight in. So with this one, we'll just go straight for our 10 minutes. All right, and then press down. And now, $30. Just leave that mix around a little bit, and then we'll put that straight onto 50. Well, that'll do. Now just put this dough straight onto the table. Now as a bread dough, that I think is nice. So we'll scale it off and then we'll leave it on the table for 20 minutes. This could be your sandwich, your farmhouse, your split tins, whatever. Because obviously this dough is the same dough for everything. This is how it works in the bakery industry. We don't change the doughs, it's the same dough. Even this, the recipe is basically the same. Now this, to me, is almost ready to actually put into a tin. So this has been lying around for around about 20 minutes now. That little bit of dough, stick into bread dough. There you go. That's what it looks like. Putting the water in first, not much difference, is it? But the difference is the flour isn't stuck to the bottom of the bowl. It's already going round in there. So I would say water in first, then flour. And that's looking fine to me. Right, we'll mould these up and put them straight into our tins. These we'll leave out. Just grab hold of them, fold them over, and just roll them up, okay? Bit sticky, bit of flour, like that, and roll it up. Like that, pull it out, fold it over, and just get this and just knee it in like that. And then just roll it up. And then they go straight into our tins, like that. Spin them up. Up to 50 and spray them around with oil. Like that. And that's it. We'll just scale off this last bit of dough. So for this, once again, tin loaves. So we'll do these as our farmhouse tins. Once again, all we do is squash them down and mould them up like this. Okay, make sure the seam's on the bottom. Pull them out, in, push them down with your knee, push them down with this part, and then just roll it up. There's our wholemeal bread. So we're going to get those into the oven. Now the oven temperature is around about 450 Fahrenheit, give or take. And we're going to pop those in. Now I'm feeling this is like what I call stone ground wholemeal. So it's not going to be like your normal blown up stuff. it will shrink back a little bit. Now they're going to be in the oven for around about 30 minutes. Let's move those out of the bed. As you can see, these are like almost ready to mold up, and these ones are dead, if you can see the difference. So you can see that's moved and that's dead. So that's got a little bit longer to go. So with these, you don't need to double the size. It just needs to be, that's why I said, as soon as you mix it, 20 minutes, and they go straight into a tin. Same with these, they've just come from the machine. That's as dead as dead. There's no life in that at all. And as you can see, this has got a nice spring, and that's actually starting to move. That's only 10 minutes away before they mold up. But I'll be molding these up and putting them in the tins, and you won't see it. It's going to be exactly the same as the tins I've already done. Splits, sandwich. When they're ready for the oven, I'll put you back on. So these are almost ready for the ovens. Looking at them, now these are split tins. They don't want to go right to the top, just a little bit less. And the same with these, a little bit less than the top, because you just want a nice split on the top. So one of the interesting things I wanted to know, can I mix my bun dough in this machine? So let's get it started. So straight away on the top here, let's timer first. So we want 10 minutes again. We'll give it 11 because that's just a warm up. Press. Start them on 5. Let's go up to 30. Now we'll add in our water. Now I don't know how this is going to work out, this bun dough. This is what I call the limit of the machine. Well, it's still a bit of space there. Right, we'll knock that up onto 50. And we'll let that mix round. Now a little bit of dough in here. You can lob that in as well. Now currently, have I got any concerns with this at all? Not really. It's managed to mix all my doughs pretty well. If anything, my only concern is the actual hook itself, because it seems to come loose. And I'm not sure why it's coming loose, because it shouldn't just suddenly come loose. On the side here, it hasn't moved much than what it was previously. The manufacturer says that's fine. That's what they expect from the machine, the tolerances. So we can only say, if that's what it should be like, then that's what it should be like. Is there any odd noises? Not really. It is noisy, by the way, but it's going to be noisy. I'm not hearing any cog noises at the moment, so that's pretty good. So we'll let that mix and see what that comes out like. Hopefully it's fine. I'm looking for a really nice dough. Well, that's our dough mixing. Now that's only got 1 minute 23 left. Mixing on 50% doughs is bang on for me. That is how I expect a dough to be mixing. You can put that in your books. 50% for bread doughs and that type of thing is plenty. Don't go above it, it's no point. That is perfect. Now, if you want to make it into rolls, then yes, we'll whip it up. But for bread doughs, 50% is plenty maximum. And I'm liking that. That looks a lovely dough. Remember, this is testing out my little bun dough. In another video, I'll show you individually what we'll do with this, but not in this video. I'm just showing you the dough mixing. I'm just interested to see how this machine handles this much. And I can't criticize it, but that bar I'm concerned about. And just spray that round. And that just helps to release your dough. It's that simple. Right, and that's it for today. I've got concerns about this. This doesn't come up easy. I'm pressing this now, and they're not coming up very well. For some reason, they're not coming up. I had this earlier. It's sticking. I'll just put this on the table, take it out of the machine bowl and have a look at it. And I don't mind telling you, that's lovely. That's a perfect bun dough for me. That's just how I like my bun dough. So let's have a look at the Granary bread. What I've sussed out, that machine's actually makes a lovely loaf. I know it's the art of baking, really. This is the stone ground, which I mentioned about earlier. You can see it doesn't come out like raised up as much because it's a stone ground. But that's fine. That's good for what it is. And obviously this is your Granary bread, malt cob, whatever you want to call it. That's not a bad loaf at all. I'm liking that. In fact, anything, it's come out better than I normally do on my bigger machine. But I think it's because that's a smaller amount. Like these are smaller amounts. So I just wanted to see scaled down version of what I would normally do. What am I thinking about this machine at the moment? I'm loving it. I think it's great. Only downside is this. I am concerned about this altogether. I mean, that's coming out all right. I've got a brand new one of these coming shortly. In fact, that's loose. Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse my French. I can't get out the machine. Anyway, got that off. This one is loose. Okay, it's loose. Okay, so it's fully up. But I can't get out the machine. So this is all the bread which came out. And this all came out that Ooni Halo Pro spiral mixer. Not so bad. These and those. These were a little bit less higher than they should have been, really. There wasn't much spring in that. And it may have been my fault. But apart from that, everything else is banging. Those sandwich, not a problem. And those splits. Yeah, those splits are banging. Yeah. Okay, I will say the type of flour I'm using, it tends to keep everything a little bit softer than it normally would be. But I'm liking them, that's fine. And I would say I'd recommend the machine, even with its small problems it's got. And they are pretty limited at the moment, let's be fair.